launched. Today's launch is, and the stream is starting up now. Today's launch will be the 184th orbital launch attempt of 2022, SpaceX's 203rd mission, 60th launch of SpaceX's 60th mission for 2022, Falcon 9's 194th launch, and the 59th mission of 2022, which is pretty crazy. The booster that's flying today is 1062. It'll be the 11th flight, landing on a short fall at Gravitas. A 69-day, nice, turnaround, and the 170th Falcon 9 recovery attempt, which is, okay. That's pretty gnarly. This Falcon 9 Starlink-61 will take off out of Pad 40 at Cape Canaveral Space Force Station here. So I'm going to flip us over to the coverage now, and we'll go from there.
It's the first of Starlink's upgraded network. Under our new license, we are now able to deploy satellites to new orbits that will add even more capacity to our network. Ultimately, this enables us to add more customers and provide faster service, particularly in areas that are currently oversubscribed. Now, the teams are currently tracking no issues with the vehicles or spacecraft. Weather and range are both green for launch, and we are proceeding with a T0 of 4:34 a.m. Eastern Time.
Yep. Yeah,
with liftoff
and
just
it's flying on the
4
southerly
minutes
trajectory.
and about 15 seconds from now, we are standing by for transporter erector retraction. And there you can see on your screen that the clamp arms just below the fairing are opening up. Once those are fully open, TE will begin to retract away from the vehicle. It looks like the clamp arms are now fully open, and the transporter erector is now reclining away from the vehicle.
Yeah, it's not going to fly near me, Allie. This one's going down toward the Bahamas. It's going the other way, man.
We're also coming up on propellant loading.
What you're hearing right there, guys, is the tanks getting to the right pressure. You're hearing the vents on the first and second stage. Those are the gaseous oxygen vents, and they're venting to kind of they're venting the tanks to kind of make sure that they're at the right pressure. It kind of ends up feeling like the thing is breathing almost, but it's
Discovery, go at throttle up.
It's just you're just hearing the vents. They're alleviating pressure out of the tanks to get the tanks to the right pressure.
And we are now awaiting completion of liquid oxygen load on the second stage, just under a minute from now.
I don't know. 57 Starlink? I don't think there's been 57 Starlink. It's a little bit less than that. SpaceX. This is the 60th mission for the year for SpaceX in total. I don't think 57 of those were Starlink. A good deal of them were, but fast forward.
We're just under 30 seconds away from liquid oxygen loading completion on the second stage. Once that concludes, that will conclude propellant loading for Falcon 9.
Andre, hey man. EJ, Tarkov is wiping right now. New map release. Do you have any plans on playing it? I don't know, maybe. Okay, we are caught up. Fast forwarding, so.
Stage 2, lock flow complete.
Hey, Pins, what's going on?
And there's that call out with Stage 2's liquid oxygen loading complete. Falcon 9 is now fully loaded with 1 million pounds of fuel and liquid oxygen. Now, the booster that you see on your screen is flying for an 11th time today. It previously supported Nilesat 301, Axiom 1, Inspiration 4, GPS 3 Space Vehicle 4 and 5, and 5 previous Starlink missions. Reusability allows SpaceX to refly the most expensive parts of the rocket, which in turn drives down cost of space access. Now, after liftoff and stage separation, the booster is scheduled to land on our drone ship, a short fall of Gravitas, which is currently stationed in the Atlantic Ocean. And as you can see on your screen, the weather out there at the moment is a bit unfavorable, but we are optimistic for today's recovery.
Ooh,
and we just heard that call out.
A little rough.
That stage 1 is that Falcon 9 is in startup.
Getting a little bit of sleet out there on the ocean.
LD, go for launch.
Launch directors
And
reporting
great
go.
news. Final call from the
Okay,
launch
here
director.
we
We
go.
are go for Falcon 9 to carry our
know what you
Starlink
mean,
payload
Cooper.
out into space.
T-minus 30 seconds.
All right, here we go. Where are we going with this? This one's going out into the... It's going into low Earth orbit. I think it's 54 degrees inclined, so this
15
thing's
seconds.
going to launch southeast of the Cape here.
T-minus 10, 9, 8,
Sound suppressor is
7,
on.
6, 5, 4, 3, 2,
Green flash.
1. Engines full power.
All right, we're flying early in the morning.
Go Starlink,
5-1 is in the air. Is that what's going on, man?
Pushing downrange.
and 1D chamber pressure pump.
Okay. Top guy says that all 9 engines are working correctly. Okay, 30 seconds into the flight. Everything's looking good. Stand by for the call for maximum dynamic pressure. Max Q is peak aerodynamic load being exerted on the vehicle from compression
Power
forces.
and telemetry nominal.
Because the
You are
rocket
currently
can't move
watching the
air out of the way
60th
fast enough.
launch of 2022 Falcon 9 carrying our Starlink payload out into space.
Vehicle supersonic.
Vehicle has throttled down in preparation for Max Q, which is coming up here in a few seconds.
Max Q.
There's a call for maximum dynamic
Great
pressure.
news, we have passed through Max Q. That is the largest structural load that the vehicle sees during ascent.
A little shaky on the track tonight, or this morning. Yep, 60 launches.
Now we
for
are
SpaceX.
just about a minute away from a few
if they
events
can
happening back
do
to back.
60
That is
successful missions
main
here.
engine cutoff,
Impact is chilling.
stage separation, and second engine start 1.
Second stage engine is now having propellants trickled into it to make sure it's thermally conditioned and primed for a second
Now,
stage
Miko,
ignition here.
Or main engine cutoff is where we shut down all 9 of
Or you
those
could say it's
M1D
chilling.
engines that you see lit up on your screen right there. Now that helps slow the vehicle down in
Great
preparation
track.
for stage separation, where the first stage separates from the second
Great
stage.
track. That's beautiful.
First stage will make its way back down to Earth, scheduled to land on a short fall of gravitas
About
today.
2 minutes, Haji.
While the second stage continues with the Starlink payload
Stand by.
and igniting that second stage engine.
Stand by for standing by.
We are coming up on those few events here in just a few seconds.
Yeah, I know, Tessa. It's pretty nuts, man. Okay, so you should see the purge flash here when they shut the engines down.
Miko.
Right there, and then
Stage
There it
separation
is.
confirmed.
okay. Man, that was a very quick engine cut off to
Impact ignition.
separation, but looks like there's a good separation, good ignition, stiffening ring separation on the second stage. Looks really good. Fairing deploy. Boop.
Bearing separation confirmed.
Perfect. They make it look so easy.
Now, as
It's
you
not
may have
easy at all.
just seen,
Oh my
we had
goodness. They make
Miko,
it look
stage
so easy.
separation,
It's
MVAC
so
engine
not
igniting
easy.
on the second stage, as well as fairing deploy. Your left-hand screen is a view from the first stage, and you can see those grid
Gotcha,
fins
Cyril.
deploying there.
It's going southeast on this one, Ja. You might be able to see a little bit of it, but she's flying out towards the Bahamas, man.
On your right-hand screen, you are seeing a view from the second stage, looking forward at our Starlink payload.
280 feet up on a roof right now. Dude, you'll see it. You'll see it if it's clear. We'll see,
Now,
Tessa.
both fairing halves that flew today
Phenomenal. You see
are
it, Ja?
flight proven,
Word.
which means that they have flown
Yeah, you'll see
before,
it, man.
and we
From-
will
from-
attempt to
from
recover the
28
fairing
stories
halves
up,
again
you'll
using
see
our
it.
recovery vessel, Doug.
High predominant. We are noticing. We are witnessing. It went over 125, Tessa.
Today's mission marks SpaceX's 60th launch of the year. As a reminder, Starlink is a
Doug.
satellite internet
Yep.
constellation designed and
Acquisition of signal,
manufactured
Bermuda.
Designed
I
and
don't wanna do
manufactured
that.
by SpaceX to provide high-speed, low-latency internet to people living in remote and rural locations around the
Both vehicles
globe.
are following nominal
It's so clear you can
trajectories.
hear it from Daytona right now.
We're
Viscous,
getting
is
good
it
callouts,
cold?
both vehicles following nominal trajectories.
The sound will carry more if it's cold out, dude. Yeah, what's the temperatures down in Florida like?
Just now joining, the first stage is making its way back down to Earth, while our second stage is making its way to its targeted drop-off orbit for our Starlink payload, which you see there on your screen.
40. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, Viscous, it's 19 here. 19.
Just under a couple minutes away
cold.
from the entry burn on the first stage. First stage has a couple more burns. That is the entry burn, and then followed by the
You
landing
have to wear
burn.
2 pairs of flip-flops to stay
Entry
warm.
burn is where 3 of the
Indeed.
9 M1D engines will reignite and help to slow the vehicle down
Yeah,
as
a
it
little bit,
enters
Tessa,
back
but
into
it
the
ain't
Earth's
sticking.
atmosphere.
Hey, Voldemort.
While
8
today
months.
is our final Starlink mission of the year, it's the first of Starlink's upgraded network. Under our new license, we are now able to deploy satellites to new orbits that will add even more capacity to our network. Ultimately, this enables us to add more customers and provide faster service, particularly in areas that are currently oversubscribed.
Sweet. Okay, should be coming up here on my favorite part, the entry burn. Supersonic retro propulsion. Jeremy, not you two. Damn it. Why are you humoring him? Okay, right now Falcon
We're
9's
just
gonna
about
fire
30
its
seconds
engines
away
to
from
slow
the
down.
entry burn beginning on the first stage. Again, that
Stage
is
2 FDS is saved.
Flight termination.
again that is
second
3
stage.
of 9
Safe
M1D
set
engines
condition. Hey,
reigniting.
rotor. They're gonna fire the
And
engines here, not only to
You
slow
should see
that
that
first
on your
stage
left-hand
down,
screen, while your right-hand screen is a view from the
Stage
second
1
stage.
FTS is saved.
but to give Falcon 9 a nice cool column of gas
Stage 1
as it goes
entry
through
burn.
re-entry.
Start up.
There it is. See?
And there,
Pushes
as
the
you may
pushes
have
the plasma
heard,
right
as
out of the
well
way.
as visually can see on your screen, 3 of 9 M1D engines have
Perfect.
reignited.
Discovery.
This burn
no
will last
throttle.
about 20 seconds
Gotcha.
long.
Okay. Stage 1 entry burn shut down.
Stage 1 entry burn shut down.
Hey, I just said that.
And we have just had the entry burn shut down.
Yeah, see?
Both vehicles
Look,
continue to follow nominal trajectories.
when the engines were firing, you
Next
didn't see the
up,
re-entry
about
heating
1
happening
minute
on the
from
grid
now,
fins,
we
but
will
look, yeah,
have
that
the
grid
stage
fin's getting a
1
little
landing
cooked.
burn beginning on the first stage.
But you didn't
Now,
see
while
that when the
first
engines were
stage landing
firing.
burn
It's because the engine
is
pushes the
on,
plasma out of the way.
We will also have Seco 1 on the second
Something
stage,
like
just
that,
shortly
Tessa,
after
yeah.
that landing burn begins.
Oh, man, look at
Landing
that.
burn lasts about 20 seconds,
That's
so
cool.
we'll hear some call-outs and wait for a confirmation of good orbit on
It's
the
a
second
new shell
stage.
that's come. SpaceX hasn't launched any Starlink satellites
hear-
into this orbit.
Stage 1 transonic.
Stage 1
We'll hear some of
is
those
in the
events happening
transonic
back
regime.
to back. Again, we are just about 30 seconds away from the landing burn beginning on the first stage.
Okay. Stand by for the call for that landing burn here.
Stage 2 is on terminal guidance.
Stage 2, terminal guidance, meaning that it's running off of its own inertia. It's using its own inertia to figure out where it is. The acceleration of the second stage is guiding the guidance systems right now. It's basically in closed loop.
Stage 1 landing burn.
Landing burn on the first stage.
And there you
Man,
can see on your left-hand
it's
screen,
rough. Look at
stage
those grid
1
fins
has
move
lit
around.
one engine to prepare for landing on our
shaking?
drone ship, a short fall of gravitas.
Oh, man. Oh, there's the drone ship. Here we go. Here we go. Come on, bring her
Landing
down.
deploy. Stage 1 landing confirmed.
And Falcon 9 has landed. This marks our 159th overall landing of an orbital class rocket, including
Yo.
both Falcon 9 and Falcon Heavy
It's
missions.
not exactly
Not
calm
more
waters
insertion.
out there right now. Jeez.
And also great
Yeah, the
news,
wind took
we
it a
did
little
have
bit.
Seco
Dude,
1
that was
and
in a
heard a
freaking
call out for
storm.
confirmation of good orbital insertion.
Got NOI right there. Man, dude, that was the. Is it storming down there? Hold on one second.
And there you can see
Gotta look at the
that
radar.
engine has shut down. So stage 2 is now carrying 54 Starlink satellites into low Earth
Yeah,
orbit.
the water's a little
Thank
choppy
you
out
so
there
much
right
for
now.
joining us today, and we will see you again next time.
Okay, see you, Jesse. All right, there you go. Starlink 5-1. Successful. Yeah, down around the Bahamas, around Marsh Harbor. There's a little bit of oh dear. Wow. Here. Guys, look at this. Peep this. So that Starlink flew out of the Cape and went down here. The drone ship's right in this area right here. We're in for some chop in the pipe, 5x5. They landed it in that. That's not bad. That's not bad, man. That's not bad at all. It's pretty good. Oh my goodness. Yeah, the drone ship is right in this area right here, right on the edge of that. Yeah, I saw it, T-Man. Yeah, strap it down. It'll be fine. Anyway. All right, dudes. I hope you guys enjoyed that coverage. That was awesome. Really fun. Last SpaceX launch of 2022. Actually, is that the last one? Yeah. Oh, no. We got Aero C3 on Friday. So, maybe the second to last one. Could be the last one. Get some more kit, mate. Yeah.
Discovery, go at
Hey,
throttle.
Ditch Rapid, what's up? Next launch is in 1 day, 21 hours and 12 minutes. So that puts the cap here on that mission. From what we can see, they still have to deploy the satellites. But that was the 184th launch of 2022, launch attempt from 2022. SpaceX's 203rd mission, their 60th mission of this year, the 194th mission for Falcon 9, and the 59th mission of 2022, which is just bananas. That's ridiculous. What's that, Flava? That's their most impressive landing yet. It was a little windy out there. If the weather gets too bad, can the booster tip over? That's happened before, Flava. Yeah, that's happened, dude. It happened with a Falcon Heavy Center Core. Sometimes they just can't get it. It's too windy. It's not just about landing the booster. I think that landing the booster is like the easy part at this point. Easy part. But yeah, Falcon Heavy Center Core that did land, it tipped over and fell into the ocean, which really sucks. The only Falcon Heavy Center Core that's ever landed. But speaking of Falcon Heavy, guys, this doesn't stop just because it's the end of the year. If we go over to next space flight, take a look. We have Aero C3 at 1:58 a.m. Now, don't get me wrong, I'd just like to reiterate, Thursday, Friday, I'm off, but I will cover this. I'll see you guys here in the morning. SpaceX has more launches next month than ULA in the whole year. Good thing there's not a market for reusability. ULA is pursuing reusability, Rocket. Why you keep saying that? So, then we got Transporter 6 on the 2nd, and then we got OneWeb 16, Net the 8th, and then SF-67 right there on the 10th. There's like, in the next 2 weeks, there's two Falcon 9s and a Falcon Heavy teed up and ready to go. And then GPS 3 SV06 is on the 18th. That's a lot of launches. Grimmy Gav, hope you had a good Christmas. Hope you and the family are well. Everything is good, Grimmy. Yeah, thank you very much. I had a great Christmas. How about you? Yeah. Guys, Starlink launches don't even get that many viewers. I just like staying up for the coverage. I like waking up for this. That's fun for me. But yeah, it's great. Yep. Anyway, copium. Yeah, well, here I am at 4 in the morning, right? It's fun, man. I love watching them. Love watching it. It makes me so happy. I love that it's getting boring. I'm serious. Does SpaceX want to increase their launch frequency even more, or is this peak? Back alley, I'm pretty sure if SpaceX could have their way, they'd be launching every day. And then make things out of clay and lay by the bay. They just may. What do you say? Grimmy got COVID positive and my family didn't want me over as my brother just had a newborn and a nan who's 70 plus, so there was so it was a bit crap. Yeah, that sucks, man. That sucks. Yeah, back alley, they're trying to launch pretty much 2 or 3 times a day. That's the stated goal. So that's what Starship's trying to do. Starship is trying to... So Falcon 9 is fulfilling the role of the space shuttle right now. Like, that's basically what I tell people. It's doing exactly what the space shuttle was designed to do, but NASA never did because safety. I get it. Falcon 9 is doing that. Falcon 9 and Dragon and Falcon Heavy. They're doing exactly what NASA wanted to do with the space shuttle in the early 80s. Basically, a launch a week, which is basically what we got, guys. We did the math out. 52 weeks in a year, 60 launches by SpaceX. We're getting an average of like 1.2 Falcon 9 launches per week, which is that's basically what they want, what NASA wanted to do with the space shuttle. They wanted to do that in the space shuttle in the anticipation of trying to get to routine access to space. And that means being able to go into space and file a flight plan with a rocket, basically like an airplane. So that's where the space shuttle was supposed to take us. Falcon 9 is fulfilling the role that NASA wanted the space shuttle to do by like 1986, 1987, 1988, somewhere around there. They wanted to, Falcon 9 is fulfilling that role, but eventually NASA thought the shuttle would lead to routine access to space. So like launching basically once a week. Probably get that down to like once a day, just flying it like an airplane, right? And in that regard, think about like the SRBs and whatnot, right? Like in that regard, that makes a lot of sense with like mass producing SRBs and fishing them out and whatnot, right? But Starship is basically supposed to take us to that next level. It's supposed to take us to that launching once a day thing. Falcon 9 is only, dude, I don't think that Falcon 9 could scale any faster. I think we're at kind of where your theoretical max is for this system. I mean, 1 Falcon launch a week is absurd. That is an absurd amount of rocket launches, dude. No one's ever done that. No one's ever done that. Pretty damn sure. I'm pretty sure they didn't launch this much, like in the 60s with rockets. Dumb question, but won't they run out of things to launch at some point? That's the question, back alley. That's the question. I don't think they will. So those Starlink satellites, dude, that Starlink constellation needs to be maintained. It needs to be maintained. Those satellites only last 5 years. The first Starlink satellites that were launched are long gone. So the reason why is because the Starlink satellites are in a low orbit that is constantly decaying. And when the Starlink satellites thrusters run out, back down you go. They're creating so much drag down at the, 400, 500 kilometer level. That's where they're. They're about 300 miles up. There's still enough perturbing aerodynamic forces up there to deorbit something if it doesn't have thrusters. So back alley, the network needs to be maintained constantly. So that demand, as long as Starlink is profitable, that demand's always going to be there. When we run out of things to launch, it's tourists that will be launching. You know what we should do, Predominant? We should launch some plants into space. But you know where plants come from, right? Seeds. We should launch some seeds into space. Grow some plants up there. How would they deal with repairing the pad if the shuttle flew once every week? Rocket, I don't think they even got to that point to even consider it, to be honest with you. I wonder if the FAA will waive the range exclusion if SpaceX launches weekly or just let ATC handle it. Well, part of bringing the FAA in, Neuro, was starting to try and normalize space flight like you would file a flight plan with an aircraft. Or she would launch a Ford Ranger. Yeah. Plus, stellar events knocks them down on occasion. That's right, Dead Scum. Yeah. So when a Starlink satellite goes down, does it burn up? Yep, world, they're designed that way on purpose. They're designed to completely obliterate themselves so no debris comes down. Yeah. Smart. That's really smart. Because, so think about it, dudes. Like, I've said this many times. I said this right when I first heard about Starlink. If SpaceX captures 1% of global telecommunications, there will be enough money to fund Starship and then some. Like, think about how much data we consume per day. How much bandwidth it's an absurd amount. It's ridiculous. In terms of like how much data gets consumed by you, me, anyone. You know what I mean? Like it is a ridiculous amount. So there's billions and billions and billions of gigabytes being exchanged like daily. And if SpaceX can if Starlink can unlock those underserviced areas, because just because you live in the sticks doesn't mean that you don't need an internet connection, you know what I mean? Like if SpaceX is basically trying to capture the market where it doesn't make sense for an ISP to go and build out lines. Right? Anywhere. You know, government subsidized or commercial subsidized. There's some areas that just don't make sense because there's not enough people. You're never going to get revenue from it, right? Now, there are some areas that just do it anyway because it's all state subsidized and stuff, and that's fine. But there's more underserviced areas than not. And if they bring internet to all those underserviced areas, a lot of people that live out in the sticks, man, that's a huge market. That's a huge market. There's a lot of people that live out in the sticks in the U.S. The U.S. and Canada alone. Let alone, South America, you get into Central America, you get into, areas that are pretty remote in like Africa and stuff. And some even like super remote places up in Northern Europe. That's a lot of revenue. It's a lot of revenue if you can tap into it. Yeah. The Outback. That's right, Blinga. Yeah. I'll probably be signing up to Starlink once we hit the road to the caravan again, traveling around Australia. That's cool, Dead Scum. Sweet. An active battlefield for one? They're not making any revenue off of that, Jackery. They're doing that out of pocket. Yeah. They have a short lifespan world so that once again, as soon as Starlink generates enough revenue to subsidize Falcon 9 launches, then Falcon 9 reusability is good. But personally, I think that if I had to guess, I'm not 100% sure if Starlink is offsetting the cost of Falcon 9s just yet, but it will. Oh, it will. Oh, absolutely. That and the mobile Starlink dishes and stuff. You can get internet anywhere. So that means if you want to, if you work from home, right, and which a lot of people do nowadays, right? You work from home, you buy an RV, like Dead Scum was saying. You buy an RV, you put a mobile Starlink antenna on it. You have basically not a fiber connection, but pretty damn close. You definitely have like a high-speed internet connection literally anywhere on the planet, which is that's absurd. That's ridiculous. There's no way that there's not a big demand for that type of capability. And that's just the civilian market, dude. That's not even including government contracts. The Department of Defense is going to get their hands on that one. That they want that. They definitely do. Back in May, I flew to Seattle, and they had a test Starlink system for the internet, and it was insane. Yep. Yeah, exactly, Nero. Yep. Yeah, I know it's already happened. So, if Uncle Sam wants it, that means there's a lot of money there. That means it's going to be a lot of money. Actually, I believe I was reading contract proposals the other day of how the Air Force and the Space Force want Starlink as a backup to GPS, which is just ridiculous. It's just okay. You know, you can't take out a swarm of satellites. It's a Zerg Rush constellation, you know, to put it in StarCraft terms. It's crazy, Fullbeam. I'd like to think that it will disrupt predatory tactics and crap service of the regular ISPs. Yeah, Argy Barge, I think their minimum viable is under service areas, their minimum viable product. But if Starlink can deliver at fiber speeds once the network is fully built out, yeah, the ISPs are going to need to watch out. I think you're right. I think it'll offset. I think the ISPs, if SpaceX starts barging in on their business, I think they're gonna be like, Starlink is unethical or something stupid like that. Do you know how much integration would have to be done? The thought alone makes me want to get out. What do you mean, Creeper? DoD Starlink is significantly more expensive. Yeah. For various reasons, like $2,500 per terminal. Where'd you get that number from, Neuro? Back alley, yeah, it's amazing to see how successful SpaceX has become. So is it realistic to worry? Oh, I don't know, man. Back alley, dude. I'm keeping my mouth shut on that one. I don't know, homie. I'll just be over here. I'm here for the space flight, dude. I have no idea. Will it affect it? I don't know. I have no idea. Maybe. Probably not. Even with this launch, Starlink isn't done yet. No, not even close, Blinga. I mean, back alley, like... The reason why I've kind of just backed off is because you know what I'm learning as I get older? Just to shut up. Just shut up. I don't need to weigh in on every single freaking thing. I'm honestly here for the space, dude, and I don't... Everything else is just static. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, interesting world. I mean, they're already looking at it, dude. Starlink is used to link like aircraft together and stuff, from what I understand, which is pretty crazy. Why do you make me get rid of the Artemis hat? I love that hat. My dad gave me that hat for Christmas. Now how do you feel, James? You jerk. Some people I worked with are ordering it as aid for a U.S. ally. Oh, no, that's not exactly DOD. Be careful about throwing that number around, Neuro. Do they have Starlink and Tesla so you can get Twitter? I mean, GG, I'm pretty sure that you could do that. Yeah. Starshield sats are probably going to be isolated from the main network for security. GPS isn't isolated, dude. It's the accuracy of the GPS. That's what's guarded. But yeah, I mean, I don't know, back alley. Like, yeah, dude, I'm just kind of letting this situation unfold with what's going on, and I'm not weighing in on nothing. I'm here for the space, man. GPS would like to know your location. Yep. So, I don't know, man. I'm just okay. Nice, Gunna. My surveying GPS is accurate to within 3 centimeters. I couldn't imagine how accurate it actually is. Yeah, man. You think about it, it's like, ooh. Yeah, Allie, something like that. All right, guys. Well, that's going to do it. I'm going to go hit the hay again, and I'll see you guys at noontime. I think we're going to do a variety stream today. Let's just have some fun. And then Thursday, Friday, I'm taking off with the exception of the Aero C3 launch. Honestly, what I'm going to do over the weekend is finish all the payloads for the space station. I'm going to get everything that I want figured out for the shuttle. So when we start next week, it's just going to be all shuttle launches. So, StarCraft ladder stream, dude, no. No. I'm going back to sleep. Have a good night, everybody. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in a couple hours.